Are Rotting Promethean Gunnery mods any good? This will be another slightly shorter narration, not because the unit is bad. Goodness, no! It's because many of the statistics are drawn directly from the regular Rotting Prometheans. The basics are completely identical except for higher cost, 1350 to recruit or 300 higher, and 338 upkeep or 75 higher, and 192 greater unit health from the added zombies. Aside from the natural presence of extra powder, what we see is you get 45 ammunition base, and otherwise the zombie riders are simply the hand cannon units, with 90 range and all the usual statistics. So we'll move on to the really important parts, and there are two. One, you cannot manually select the target being fired upon within the forward arc of the unit. It's like with the Soul Grinder of Khorne and similar units. These shots are fired automatically. Example, given that this is a defender unit with charge defense versus large, they'll fire oversized shotguns into the backs of Knights of the Realm attempting to cycle charge against them. Second, the zombies on the back have fire whilst moving. You can walk the crabs up to 20 meters away from an enemy front line and they'll simply open fire on their own. Granted, there are only 12 models here on Ultra, so it's not going to have anywhere near the line-breaking impact that the regular zombie mob would. But again, they fire while on the move, at least when moving forward. Sadly, we do not get lateral crab movement in this game, so that's not an option either. Point being, this damage comes for free, in the sense that you don't have to manually order it. Obviously, the higher recruit and upkeep costs mean that it's not for free, but once battle is engaged, you don't need to think about it, you don't need to particularly worry about it, it's just free damage you accrue by playing out the battle. There's literally no downside in battle itself. It's important to note that the unit is recruited from the Gunnery mob building, either from the settlements or from shipbuilding, meaning that you do not in any way whatsoever need the regular Rotting Prometheans available to recruit these. I delayed testing these because I wanted to get as good a feel as I could for the regular, cheaper variety first. In the Lord Redline skills, Reanimated Marksman is what applies, not Rotten Death. This adds up to plus 18% ammunition and plus 8% missile strength. Rank 7 Crusty Elites use ensorcelled weapons to gain plus 12 armor, plus 12% missile strength, and 15% spell resistance. All certainly useful. Is it more useful than what the regulars get? Only in long battles where you're able to make the most out of those hand cannons. On the other side of things, plus 20% missile strength is nothing to sneeze at. In the tech tree, the same techs that applied to Rotting Prometheans apply here, so that'd provide plus 20% physical resistance, plus 10% speed, plus 15 flat charge bonus. But two more apply. Black Powder Oxides for a flat 5% missile strength bonus, and percussion caps for 15% more ammunition, which starts to look silly. I've gone over this because your potential to use this unit expands to something kind of crazy. All of a sudden, you have a 120 base armor unit which can be used as a skirmisher, with just enough speed to outpace most infantry units. Furthermore, charge defense versus large means that they can just stand on location and resist frontal charges from cavalry considerably. Granted, there is a limit to this, since they'll lose their braced status, but it's still 120 armor minimum. If they can get off some pot shots against enemies without ranged armor piercing, and sneak off only to do it again, they have the ammo to do this half the fight. Also, low entity as the unit may be, it's still a deterrence factor against Pterodon riders and other flying harassment units, at least trying to keep them honest while better anti-air snipers come into play. As I demonstrate here in the video, you could even use them as a kind of square and just dare your opponent to overwhelm you somehow. It's an expensive method, but it's annoying for the enemy, and Prometheans won't fall as easily to things that would take out the zombies with greater ease. Of course, they'll still burn down from Sisters of Averlorn fire, as will most things, but it's just to say they're not invincible. They just reduce the number of effective enemy attacks to something your zombie mobs could only dream of. Assuming they drew. Probably not. If money is truly not an issue, you have no reason not to use the Gunnery mob version instead of the regular. All you're giving up is a tiny bit more defense and melee clout from the redline skills, if your Admiral is set up that way. The cost difference is that of a single deckhand mob normal version. That's all that stands in the way of you adding hand cannon zombies to the mix. So when you are able to, it's totally worth it. It may be chip damage, but that adds up. And hand cannons are more likely to put the hurt into the large opponents, most likely to be the real challenge for Prometheans, resistant to simpler methods like calling 1-800-Kraken-8 to call in magical reinforcement against infantry blobs. For tougher problems, with fewer entities, you benefit from the Prometheans and the shotguns to the face. It's simple. They're still amazing walls and can pitch in on offense, flanking, reinforcing. They're useful in a wide variety of battlefield situations. Take care, and have fun making your opponent's chances of victory rot away.